My name is Jonah Hale, and until the night everything changed. The weirdest thing that had ever happened to me was locking myself out of my own apartment wearing only a towel. So waking up to find someone else in my room, someone who was definitely not human, felt like my brain had missed a memo. It started at 3:17 a.m. I know because the blue digits on my bedside clock glowed directly into my half-open eyes. I blinked once, trying to remember what woke me. Then I heard breathing. Not mine. Slow, shaky, like someone was trying to calm themselves down. I froze. My bedroom was dark, but not empty. A faint glow, silver, soft, outlined the silhouette of someone sitting on the floor near my desk. Small frame. Knees pulled to chest. Long hair draped forward. A girl. An alien girl. At first, I didn't move. Not because I was brave, far from it, but because my brain simply refused to accept any of this as reality. Then she lifted her head. Her eyes glowed faintly, like twin galaxies swirling behind glass. Her skin was pale, not white, but pale like starlight through ice. Her hair fell in long shimmering strands that seemed to change color with each breath. And she whispered, "Please don't scream." Beginning. The girl who shouldn't exist. My body turned to stone. Adrenaline threatened to catapult me out of bed. I'm not gonna scream. I lied. A full-body scream was absolutely loading in the queue. She nodded shakily and stood. And that's when I noticed something else. Her feet weren't touching the ground. She hovered an inch above it, toes pointed downward like she couldn't quite figure out gravity. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. I didn't know where else to go. My throat clicked dryly. What are you?" She opened her mouth but hesitated, as if the answer was dangerous. "My name is Sarah," she whispered. "I'm not here to hurt you. I need help." "Sure," I said automatically, right after I figure out whether or not I'm hallucinating. Sarah looked around my room, then back at me. "This is the first safe place I found. Waking up in my bedroom isn't exactly the best sales pitch." She flinched. I didn't mean to appear here." My jump vector collapsed. I thought. The lights in my room flickered. Sarah snapped her head toward the window. "They found me." My stomach dropped. "Who?" Sarah took a single step back, hovering step, whatever it was, and in that motion, I saw fear so raw it silenced every rational thought. "Jonah," she whispered, "please believe me. If they find me, they will erase everything." The arrival. A humming noise vibrated through the apartment building. Deep, mechanical, wrong. The kind of sound that didn't come from anything human-made. Sarah's eyes widened. "No. They're breaching already." "Who's they?" Before she could answer, a slice of white light carved across my window. Except it didn't shine through the glass, it cut it open. The entire pane dissolved into dust. A figure stepped through. Tall. Armored. Faceless. A hunter. The moment its black visor fixed on Sarah, she grabbed my arm. "Don't move." What? A burst of white fire shot toward us. And the world snapped sideways. Not like teleportation in movies. Not even like falling. More like reality blinked, and we slipped through the gap. The other side of the world, we reappeared in a forest. At least, I think it was a forest. The moon overhead wasn't Earth's moon, it had rings. And the trees glowed faintly blue, like someone had injected starlight into them. I dropped to my knees, fighting nausea. Okay, what just happened?" Sarah steadied herself. Even frightened, she was composed in a way that made me feel very, very mortal. "I folded us," she explained. "A small jump. It won't hold long." "I'm sorry, folded?" The shorter explanation, we ran. I rubbed my face. "Right. And who exactly are we running from?" Sarah turned toward the sky, scanning. The Archons. They're not a species, they're a system. A regime. They want me because, she hesitated, because I carry something I wasn't supposed to. What kind of something? Sarah touched the side of her head. A message. From who? From your planet. I stared at her. My planet? Earth? But Sarah looked devastated, like telling me physically hurt. Jonah, your planet has been gone for over 300 years. My heart cracked. I swallowed hard. What? Your Earth, she whispered. The one I come from. The one I know. The one that sent the message, it's gone. I sat down heavily. But I was just there. Sarah shook her head. Not in mine. You're from a parallel slice. A close version. The message was intended for someone, but that someone was never found. And what does this message say? That humans were still alive. Still holding out. Still fighting. I pressed my palms to my eyes. This was too big. Too heavy. And why did you come to me? Sarah took a trembling breath. Because the message was labeled with your name. Middle, the search for the truth. We moved through the glowing forest as Sarah explained in fragments. Her world was dying. Humanity, her version of it, was nearly extinct. The Archons controlled entire star systems. But then a signal appeared. Weak, broken, wrapped in encryption older than any database. It originated from an abandoned Earth outpost in her dimension. Inside it was a name, Jonah Hale coordinates, a set of instructions, and the directive, deliver to him, only him. But her dimension's Jonah Hale had died centuries ago. So Sarah did the only thing she could. She broke the rules of dimensional travel. She stole an Archon phase drive. She ripped a hole between worlds. She looked for the version of Jonah whose signature matched the message. And she ended up in my bedroom. You weren't supposed to exist, she said softly. But you do. And now they're hunting me because they know I found you. I walked beside her, numb. But what is this message? Why me? I'm not important. Sarah stopped walking. You're important because someone believed you were. Someone in my world. Someone who died giving me the transmission. Who? She looked down. Your counterpart. The Jonah Hale of my universe. My breath locked. He said you would understand. That you would know what to do. But I don't, I said helplessly. I don't know anything. Sarah touched her forehead to mine. No romance, just a gesture of pure desperation. That's why I came. To give you the message. To give you a chance to decide what your version of Earth will become. Before I could ask more, the forest shimmered and tore open. The hunters found us. The chase. Sarah grabbed my hand. Run. We sprinted between glowing trees as bolts of white plasma shredded the forest floor. Sarah stumbled, her energy fading. They're dampening my abilities, she gasped. They want me alive. They want the message. And what about me? They want you erased. Fantastic. Branches exploded around us. A hunter dropped from above, landing in front of me. Before I could react, Sarah threw up a pale shield of energy. The hunter slammed into it, cracking it instantly. She cried out in pain. I stepped between her and the armored figure. I had no weapons, no powers, nothing but my body. But in that moment, the truth hit me. Sarah had crossed dimensions to find me. She risked everything, not for herself, but for a message she didn't even understand. And I was not going to let her die here, even if I had no idea what I was doing. The hunter lunged. Sarah screamed, and the world exploded with white light. The awakening when I opened my eyes, the hunter was on the ground, armor cracked open like an eggshell, completely inert. I was glowing. Sarah stared at me, trembling. Jonah, your counterpart said this might happen. What did I do? You awakened. She swallowed. The hail line had latent resonance. A dormant frequency. A potential the Archons feared. Feared enough to wipe out my entire counterpart's world? Yes. So, what am I? Sarah shook her head. Not a weapon. Not a soldier. Her eyes softened.
A key.
Key to what? To ending the Archons. That wasn't comforting. Before I could speak, the final hunter stepped through a rip in the air. But this one was different, larger, pulsing with red energy. The commander. Sarah stepped in front of me. No, I said quietly, pulling her behind me. You came here for me. You risked everything. I'm not letting you face him alone. The commander raised an arm. Sarah whispered, Jonah, if you trust me, I can guide your resonance. Just take my hand. I grabbed her hand, and everything changed. Light poured from us, ours combined. It struck the commander like a meteor. Armor shattered, energy ruptured, and the hunter disintegrated into dust. Silence. Sarah collapsed to her knees, exhausted. I caught her before she hit the ground. It's okay. I've got you. That was when she whispered, Jonah, the message. It's time. The message we hid inside a hollowed, glowing tree as Sarah activated the data crystal embedded beneath her skin. Light projected between us, forming an image. A man. Older. Tired.
Scarred.
But undeniably me. The Jonah Hale of her universe. He looked directly at the projection, speaking with urgency. If anyone sees this, if any Jonah sees this, know that the Archons cannot be beaten by force. But they can be ended another way. Sarah stared at the recording, tears forming. He continued, the resonance inside the Hale line is not a weapon. It is a signal, a counterfrequency to the Archon hive code. Anyone with that signature can shut them down. Permanently. Across dimensions. My heart pounded. If you're watching this, you're the last Hale left. The last chance. Use the resonance. Free every world they have enslaved. This is my final request. Static overtook the projection. And then it ended. Sarah wiped her eyes. He saved my world's humanity. Even in death. I breathed shakily. My counterpart had died trying to give someone like me, a stranger, a fighting chance. Sarah, I said quietly, what do we do now? She rested a hand on my chest. Your world is next on their path. It isn't too late. What do you need from me? Sarah looked up. Your choice. Ending. The decision that saved worlds. The forest shimmered again. This time not from hunters, but from the dimensional crack she'd used to reach me. It pulsed weakly. She stood at its edge. Jonah, if I go back alone, the Archons will follow. If you come with me, you can shut them down. And my world, your world will never know what you saved them from. We locked eyes. No romance, no destiny. Just two people facing an impossible decision. You don't have to come, Sarah whispered. I can't ask you to give up your life. I stepped forward.
You didn't ask.
I decided. She inhaled sharply.
Why?
Because you came to me. Because someone who was me believed in something bigger. And because you shouldn't face your world's ending alone. Sarah's shoulders trembled, but not in fear. In relief. Thank you, Jonah. We stepped into the crack together. Light swallowed us. Epilogue. The resonance. We emerged in her dying world. Cities in ruins. Skies torn open by Archon ships. The air tasted of metal and smoke. Sarah squeezed my hand. This is where it begins. No, I said quietly, looking at the sky. This is where it ends. The resonance inside me pulsed like a second heartbeat. I closed my eyes and let it flow. A wave of white light rippled out, not destructive, not violent, but cleansing. Across the sky, Archon's ships froze. Their cores dimmed, their systems unraveled, and then, one by one, they fell. Not in explosions, but in silence. Sarah cried, soft, relieved, overwhelmed. "It's over," she whispered. "You did it." "No," I corrected, pulling her close so she wouldn't collapse. "We did." All around us, the world began to breathe again. And somewhere, in some version of reality, my counterpart finally rested.